Good afternoon, everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about how the narcissist has something else at work, that something else is at work in the narcissist, that at some point in time, the narcissist has a dark entity or something demonic attached to them, different times for different individuals and different stories and backgrounds. But nevertheless, it becomes attached to a demon, which is a parasite. A demon is a parasite, and that's why we always say the narcissist is a parasite or parasitic to the empath. And that is because what has happened early in childhood in regards to the narcissist as a child or as a young adult even, once the parasite gets attached and gains access into the narcissist's nervous system, then they have the ability to control them by putting thoughts into their mind. And these thoughts are thoughts that rush in to consume the narcissist or the young child as they become the narcissist with fear and anxiety and depression. They make them believe that the world is against them, in that not realizing that the true threat is not coming from the outside as they believe, but that is coming from the interior of the host, of their own person. They get the child to believe that everything that is evil is coming from the outside, because a parasite or a demon is something that is hidden in there. And that's where the narcissist, for instance, doesn't know truly what is going on. To some degree, they're kind of unawoke for the most part on what is happening. The parasite is taken over. But as the narcissist, for instance, is able to deceive you, gaslight you, bold-faced lie to you, walk around in their arrogance and their persuasion, their charm. What you're seeing there is all from the control of the parasite. And they have the ability to deceive and to convince us here on the outside of that host. But they also have to deceive the host into believing that they are non-existent. And that's how these things work. In this world system, the enemy is built, everything, all of the lies in this world system are built on the idea that God doesn't exist and that he doesn't exist. And if he could do that, then he can work his deception in a mighty way. Well, the same thing goes for the narcissist. They have to deceive the narcissist into believing that everything that they're dealing with that is a hardship is coming from the outside, because it's truly coming from the inside. And so if they can get them to believe that the true issues that they are dealing with are coming from the outside, they will never look inside. So the demon has to feed, or the parasite has to feed. They have to feed off the narcissist, but they have to get the narcissist to bring them supply, fuel. But they also have to get the narcissist fed as well, or convinced. So they got to feed them enough to convince them. And so the different things going on are, when they need to prop the mask up, the ego is the mask, the false self. The narcissist, the host, has to believe that they are a success. They got them running around, getting outside validation, looking for success. So that's why everything is based on outside validation, meaning your reaction from the outside towards them. How you react when you are with them is how they gauge how well they are doing. They cannot believe in themselves, who they are, meaning we can be in a bad environment and still know, as much as people could hammer us that we're doing the wrong thing, that we are doing right, if that's the case. Because inside, we can validate ourselves, because we know truth. We know what is right and what is wrong, what we're supposed to be doing. We know how we're supposed to treat people because we understand love. And I think where they went wrong was the absence of love. When they decided never to love again, these things really take over. So they have to get the narcissist, meaning the love, the admiration, adoration is what feeds the mask and props up the mask and validates the mask in the narcissist. But the parasite loves the hurt and feeding off the hurt and the pain and the emotions, the hurtful emotions that they cause on others. And when you get intimate and have intercourse with these individuals, they and also intimate in your emotional level, in your emotional field, over a period of time, they also leave pieces of them with you. Because a parasite is always trying to expand. And that's why it's insatiable. You can never satisfy a parasite. It continues to gain more ground. And what the parasite wants to do, that's why you always have this rumination when you leave the narcissist. You want them even though you know it is to your demise. Because this has become a parasitic spiritual orchestration, and it leaves its mark with you, hoping to transform you into what the narcissist has become. And if they can get you through the betrayal and through the pain to walk in unforgiveness towards the narcissist, then the narcissist will have won. The parasite will have won. But the pain and the hurt and all of that neglect and lying and cheating and stealing, the devastation that they leave in their rear view is all feeding the parasite that's working through the narcissist to supply its needs and to expand itself. They have to trick the narcissist. So the host or the narcissist child is consumed with fear and anxiety, thinking the world is against them, not realizing that the true danger is coming from within. The demon needs a host, and so the narcissist needs people to validate them, to prop up that ego. The narcissist is a parasite, so the demon is a parasite. They're feeding off the hurt, the emotions of others, and suffering of those all around them. The demon has to trick the host or the narcissist. And this is why that they project onto others and blame others for their actions and thoughts. They blame and shift them onto others, accusing them of what they are doing, because they have the narcissist convinced that what they are doing is what their love partner is in fact doing to them. And that is so that the narcissist, for all of their actions, the demon has the narcissist blame shift everything evil that they are doing via the demon or the parasite, that you are doing it. And it keeps the narcissist from ever looking inside, to always running around and chasing more and more supply, to never being alone. Because if the narcissist to go inside, they would find that they're not in control themselves at all. They're always blame shifting and have absolutely no responsibility for anything that they do. So what you are seeing in the narcissist are really the traits of the parasite or the entity that has possessed the host, taken over the host. And that's why they can never self-reflect. And at the first instance of any kind of criticism, which would cause them to have to self-reflect, causes them to rage, to fly off the handle, so that either one of two things will happen. You'll be afraid or walking on eggshells in fear of not causing those kinds of situations to occur in the life of you and the narcissist again, so you will avoid them at all costs. Number two, it gets the conversation to end and to never go any further into self-reflection through that criticism. That's why these individuals are all playing from the same playbook, because they're all dealing with entities that have, in their parasitic state, taking over the host. That's why they run on a covert level, meaning they camouflage themselves. And that's why the narcissist cannot process any of their actions, responsibilities, or emotions. That they have to blame, shift it, project it onto others, and be convinced that the threat is coming from the outside when in fact it is coming from the interior host. That's why they cannot change. They are fixed, and they continue on a cycle of this circle to nowhere. And that's why a lot of times you see different things, meaning they have shame because they have the ability to process negative emotions, or at least understand them to some degree, even though they're twisted. They have to feel some of this shame for the burden that they cause everybody else to bear. And that's why when you're not with them anymore, that you are constantly thinking and ruminating on them, that your life will never be the same again after dealing with a narcissist in a heavy way for a long period of time, that you will constantly be wanting to go back to them for a long period of time till you burn off this energy, that you will feel a shell of a human being and an individual, just like the narcissist, that they have betrayed you in the worst kind of ways. And that when they are done with you, they throw you out with the trash. And they just continue on. The narcissist does know that they are doing evil. They do walk in shame because they know the hurt that they cause. But they have very little power over it, if any at all. And you know this by not having any cases of recovery. The narcissist would have to want to change before that could ever be dealt with any further, before they could ever extract the parasite. Because you can't extract a parasite from somebody, a demonic parasite, if in fact they like who they are, or they are convinced that there is no parasite. But they are at some point so entangled with the parasite that it's almost impossible to extract the parasite without extracting or affecting the individual. They are all-consuming, and they continue to come back when you have recovered, because a parasite needs to feed. The narcissist, the demon is in full control of the narcissist. That's why they can turn it off and turn it on. There is a mechanism of control there. And it's all beyond the narcissist. There's a mechanism that is in control of switching on and off and controlling the host. But the narcissist is gotten addicted as well, so they walk in the addiction at some point. And the addiction takes over as well. The addiction to human supply, to get that outside validation. So they have also hijacked their endocrine system. And a lot of times when you see the charm, when you see them operate with the bold-faced lies, they are either convinced of it or you're seeing the entity in charge there. The charm, the charisma, the pompous attitude. The shame comes because there's nothing in the narcissist. They're just a shell. So they know they're fake at some point. But it all starts from the narcissist going down this road of a lot of times a learned behavior at a young age when they decide to people please their narcissist hierarchy, to do as they're told, to get validation from that individual. They become like that individual because they copy their words, they copy their tone of voice and their mannerisms to suit the narcissist hierarchy. And then it leads to access. Then access, the door is opened to this not only attachment, but the indwelling of this parasite. But we all have innate spirits, and so as the other children are in and amongst the hierarchy of the narcissist, they also have other outs. They also have other ways of dealing. You can people please. So for instance, the scapegoat people pleases in the love of them, to love them and to help them, but they don't fall into the trap of giving up on love. So that's where the innateness comes in. You are innately an individual when you are born. Whether you cultivate that as a young child or young adult or not is up to you. That's why you see a lot of times the different directions, is because I do believe that it doesn't matter what family you grew up in. Who you are today and who you will become was inevitable. And it was inevitable that the child that becomes the narcissist, given any situation, would have fallen trap to something very similar, if not that. It's my own theory, my own thoughts on this topic, because it's obvious that you're not just dealing with the individual. And it's obvious that the individual is dripping with something that is evil and dark to a level that you could never imagine, and it's not from this realm. And if you are with them long enough and you have the ability and the faith to believe in a realm in the spirit, you will start to see these things manifest in the physical form as God is giving you validation of what you are dealing with, because you have truth in you, or else you would never see that. The person without truth, or the person without belief in the spirit realm or in Almighty, will never see that. And like I said, they have to fuel The fallen ones can only get fuel through humanity. It's obvious. There's no other place they can get it from. And they can't make you do anything. And that's why I say that you walk and you're born in your innateness. The enemy can never make you do anything. They can only give you options. If you believe those options, walk and choose those options, those become constructs, all of those things. If you choose to quit processing your emotions or never choose to process certain emotions, you will never have certain feelings, and you will go down a different path, a different construct. And each construct that you go down leads to either one kingdom or another. Or it could even be a neutral kingdom. But you know, the neutral kingdom is always going to get thrown in the fallen one kingdom, because that's how it works. You can't be lukewarm, and you have to believe in something. At some point, there's a line, and you have to live on one side of the line or the other. And so that's what I have for you today. But when the narcissist leaves you, you ruminate because you're dealing with a spiritual sense beyond humanity, the level of humanity. It's at a toxic level that is deep and dark, and it leaves pieces of its parasitic self in you to plant seeds for you to lose yourself. You feel like a shell of a human because you've given up on almost everything that is your innateness. The true beauty of who you are innately is what the parasite through the narcissist steals from you. And if they can convince you of all the lies that they put on you, and if they can get you addicted to needing outside validation, if they can keep your hormones fluctuating from hot to cold for a long enough period to build new pathways in your mind, a chronic enabler is just as bad in a lot of ways as the narcissist. They have given up on self too in a lot of ways and become a shell of a human in another type of way. You don't want to be the narcissist, and you don't want to be the enabler. God gave us all the ability to be independent, to validate ourselves from and through the inside out. And more you're seeing in this world the infection of this type of parasite where only outside validation is required. And because of that, individuals out and about and all over the face of the earth have driven themselves to becoming waxed cold, y'all, to feeling no love, no remorse, to walking in unforgiveness, and to opening doors to these parasites to never love and to promote evil in each and every way. And children are their first targets. So I hope out there this may give clarity to some. And if you can give me a like, subscription, a thumbs up. Love y'all till next time. Peace. We out.